Hello, church. I want to speak to you today about the wilderness. I feel like God has been speaking to me a lot about this during the lockdown period, and it's a place where it's a place of stripping back. It can lead to purification, but it's also a place of preparation for what God has wanted to do. One thing that I don't feel has been mentioned is that Jesus has been in quarantine. When Jesus was led into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, this is what happened at the start of quarantine for ships in Italy, in Venice, and it comes from the Latin word quarantina, where they would have to wait 40 days when they entered a harbour before sailing again, and which is the same length of time as Jesus in the desert. God can lead us into the wilderness not out of punishment, but also to expose our idols. Our priorities get exposed. God leads us here out of love and can use it for new beginnings. I don't know about you, but I feel like some of the things of my life have been cut back completely. And so I've got so much time on my hands, whereas before it was a case of not always finding the time to spend time with God or to put church meetings or church events first. And so it would be you come up with an excuse not to go to the prayer meeting. And so now all of a sudden we've got lots of time, and that those excuses for me have run dry. I think also another thing that can happen is that we can rely so much on church and sermons and worship to provide our daily bread, but all of a sudden we have to find our daily bread and receive from God ourselves. I remember visiting a church in California called Rock Harbor, and at the time I visited, an amazing speaker, a guy called Mike Erie, was in the process of leaving, and one of the comments I heard from someone was that they were pleased that he was leaving because they'd focused on receiving their daily bread from him rather than their daily bread from Jesus. In Genesis 1, it describes the earth as a formless, empty void. The Hebrew word for this is tohu wabohu, which is later used for wilderness. And God creates life out of this empty void. And it's not only does life start in this wilderness, but so does new life. So many of the prophets talk about salvation in the wilderness, rivers of life in the wilderness. And Isaiah 40 verse 3 and 4 says this: a voice of one in the desert, prepare the way for the Lord, make straight in the wilderness a highway for our God. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. The rough ground shall become level, the rugged places a plain, and the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all mankind will together will see it, for the Lord has spoken. John the Baptist was also called into the wilderness on a diet of locusts and honey, just like the bush tucker Charles, to declare the kingdom of God is coming. My thought is this: what if God has led the church into the wilderness so that he can speak to us, so that he can recommission us, so that he can say that the kingdom of God is at hand, so that he can purify us and refine us? And what if this is the moment where his kingdom is about to break out? This isn't a time to let go of God, but to press in and encounter him. Just remember that if you are in the wilderness, that there are rivers of living water flowing to quench our thirst and to nourish us, and that God gives us peace when we are peaceless and rest for those who are restless. If you've had enough of lockdown, which I'm sure that you have, just remember that Jesus has gone through it, and so that this isn't some foreign situation to him where he can't help us or strengthen us in any way, but he has already walked through this. Just remember that this is a new beginning, a new season, for us as individuals, but also as a church. It's a chance to reset, to press into Him, and for all the worthless things of our lives to fall away until all we are left with is Him. All right, thank you very much. I just pray that the Lord will bless you and keep you, and His face will shine upon you. God bless. Thanks. Bye.